Hello everybody, and welcome back to another chess openings video, and today we are going to be learning about the London system. I talk about it a lot on my streams, how I love this opening to death, and I will probably never get rid of it. And the opening starts after d4, and the d4 pawn is a bit safer, I'd say. Normally people start off with the classic move e4, but d4 is more for beginners, and it's just more solid, I feel like, in my case. So d5, and then bishop f5. Bishop f4, excuse me, is the London system. It is known as the accelerated London system, but shut up. So the London system would start normally after knight f3, and then after knight f6, bishop f4. The engine, of course, thinks it's already equal because of c5. But engine doesn't know shit, so shut up. Alright, and so what you're gonna try to do is make like a pyramid with your pawns. You're gonna put it on light squares because you put this light squared bishop out on this very great diagonal for it. So you're just gonna put your pawns on e3 and c3. And then maybe you're gonna put this knight on d2, put this bishop on d3, and you're gonna hop this knight in the middle, bring this queen out, slide it over, and go for checkmate. So I'll give you an example of that. e6, e3, bishop e7, bishop d3, castles, c3, excuse me, knight c6, knight b to d2, bishop to d7, and castles, and rook e8. So now what you're going to try to do is hop this knight right here. This is normally what you're going to try and do in the London system. Just hop this knight in right here. It just controls all these important squares, just hits everything. Literally everything, just hits it all. And if they try to trade, you take with the pawn. And now this knight has to go somewhere. Like here. Then you just trade it off. And then you have these two very powerful bishops just waiting to attack. And then you're going to play queen f3 and queen g2 and queen g3. And you're just going to start hitting your opponent. Now, back to here. Wait, let me see. Not here. Here, in this position. What would happen if... What would happen if black were to play bishop to d6? There's a number of things you can do here. You can play e3. The only thing with e3 is that it's very advanced because after takes, your king's wide open. So that can be a very big threat. But at the same time, if you can do bishop d3 and then castles and then put the rook on e1, that'll be very beneficial for white. But you have to be very quick in doing so, and in that meantime, black will put a lot of pressure. So instead, what I like to do, instead of e3, is just slide the bishop back one square. And the reasoning is that after takes, your rook is winded up on this h7 square, which is very good. Because after knight f6, e3, knight c6, bishop d3, castles, knight e5, which is normal. Do not castle yet. Do not castle. You want this rook here. If anything, you should castle the other way. Maybe play c3, put the queen on c2, put the knight on d2, and just castle long. Just go the other way. You want to keep this rook on that file. And there's a cool little trick here. If they take, and you take with the pawn, and they go back, it's force mate in 6. Because after takes, king to h8, back, check. King there. rook sacrifice, has to take, queen check, king goes back, mate. And I've done it, I think, hopefully you've seen my streams, to where so many people fall for that. If you can just memorize that, so many people fall for that. It's just so many people. And so that's what we do. Another thing actually that I want to mention is after d4, d5, bishop. Sorry, not bishop f4. Knight f3, bishop to f5. Bishop to f4, and then knight c6. I recommend the move c4, and this c4 move turns it into a bit of a Queen's Gambit style, except this bishop is out of its locked position on c1. And that is what I love about this hybrid kind of London system and Queen's Gambit. The only way you can play this is if they play knight c6 and bishop f5, because what you're going to try and do, you're going to put this knight on c3, you're going to put this e3, you're going to castle short, put the bishop here. If you have to trade, you have, I mean, not on d3, that would be a bad move. e2. And then what you're going to do is you're going to try and put this queen on b3. Since this light squared bishop left its guard on the b7 pawn is very weak, so having that queen on b3 not only targets that weak b7 pawn, but also helps with pressure in the center. And eventually in the Queen's Gambit, you are going to maybe play rook e1 and then try to play e4. So that's another thing that you can do against that variation. Last thing that I would want to mention, e4, knight f6, bishop f5. If they play g6, I like playing the Jobaba London, which the plan for the Jobaba is to play queen d2, castle long, and then trade off the bishop. Now this would be an example. Bishop g7, queen d2, d5, castle long, castle short, and bishop to h6. It puts pressure on this bishop. If they take you take with the queen, and your queen just hangs out right there. Leave it there. If they play this knight move, then just there. Actually, my mistake. Here. So you can play this h-pawn. However, if they don't play that, then, I mean, you're not probably not going to play that. See that? And then, so, after some example, e6, e5, takes, bishop e2, you're going to play knight f3, and then you're going to go h4, h5, and try to break this pawn structure. If you have to sacrifice the rook, go for it. This king is not safe. Of course, the engine's like minus 0.2, and it's equal because of some computer defense, but you're not a computer. So, yeah, I would normally say in a human analysis, it would be maybe like +1. So that is the London system. Again, just a quick overview. d4. If they play d5, try to go for the knight f3 system. Playing knight f3 first leaves you with so many options of still playing the Queen's Gambit, the Catalan, maybe even the Trompowsky. There's so many things that you can do with knight f3. Knight f3 is just so flexible. The only reason why I would say bishop f5 first is if they play an Indian game, which would be maybe like a King's Indian or a Nimzo. That is the only reason why I would say play bishop f4 first. However, anything else? Just knight f3. And then after knight f6, then play bishop f4. And then against the King's Indian defense, play the Jobaba London, put the queen on d2, castle long, put this bishop here, and then play h4, h5. And then other goals for the London would be just, let me see. Here. Alright, here, just, again, main goal is to put the knight on e5. In some variations, you're going to put the rook on e1 and then maybe play the e4 push, but very rarely you're going to have to play with that, so I'm just not going to go in very much detail. If you want me to go in more detail, then I can make another video maybe later in the year. And yeah, so that is the London system. Please use this opening if you're a beginner. It is so good for beginners. All your pieces are just so solid, and they're just developed so well to an extent that you control the center a lot. And if you can keep control of the e4 and e5 squares, you're going to be really happy in the London system. So that is the London system. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next video should be out sometime next week, Friday, sometime in the week, I don't know. I may be doing a stream on Thursday because it will be my birthday, and I will be doing just a birthday stream. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna be doing. And so yeah, I'll see you guys then. Keep a lookout for my stream on Thursday, and I'll be coming out with a video next week. I don't know if it's gonna be an opening video or an in-game video, so we'll see. And I'll see you guys in that next video. Subscribe, like the video, and I will see you in the next